Bitcoin is flirting with the invalidation level that I showed in my Sunday video. I didn't make a video on Monday because I'm sick still. As you could tell in my last video, I got worse. I'm still worse, but whatever. Therefore, since an invalidation point is being flirted with, the previous, what I suspected was an edge to the upside, is clearly subsiding because an invalidation point is being flirted with. We're going to dive in there and zoom in on this, and then also try to connect it specifically with what's going on in the traditional market. So, with no further ado, let's dive into these charts. All right, rock and roll. I have an Ethereum background, so I'm going to cover Ethereum a little bit here as well today. But Bitcoin is, for crypto, it feels like that's what we need to be looking at. Sometimes I identify that Ethereum is the voice of reason, but right now it's all about Bitcoin. And it appears that Bitcoin dominates, or at least it feels. I guess it's not happening right in the charts yet, but I'm getting the feeling that Bitcoin dominance is getting ready to go back up. So Bitcoin on very, very small time frames just made a local potential higher low. It's trying to form a higher low than this. And I think Ethereum just made a lower low on this quick move down here. So altcoins are, yeah, so see that's totally different. So when you see this kind of stuff happening between Ethereum and Bitcoin, that means I think Bitcoin dominance is getting ready to go back up. I think this was its bounce point. It looks like it's getting ready to start racing again. Yeah, this is, I think this is getting ready to bare minimum. Actually, yeah, Bitcoin, no, this is Bitcoin on the CME, sorry. There we go. This looks like this is going to be the bounce point. And Ethereum doing a local low, or making a local lower low as Bitcoin made a local higher low. That gives the indication that this is getting ready to spring up at least, I would say 45%, or to 45.8% to at bare minimum make a lower high. And it could be over the next couple of days. Let me measure that out. A whole week, I would say at least a week, Bitcoin dominance is getting ready to go up. What are the implications of that? Well, as Bitcoin, and the reason why I bring Bitcoin dominance up is because during those moments, the difference between what Bitcoin and Ethereum just did is going to happen more and more, is when Bitcoin makes even a local higher low, a lot of altcoins will make a lower local low, and they're just going to start bleeding out. And if Bitcoin has a nice run to the upside, your altcoins are likely not going to have as strong as a run to the upside. Hey, Gyro Not, I will take a look at InArch here after I get my Bitcoin. It'll probably take about 10 minutes here. So this is a very important implication. And for the person who just did a super chat, Hero Not or Gyro Not, I'll take a look at that, but that will be a major thing that I'll look at or take into consideration is Bitcoin dominance. It's not confirmed that it's going to bounce hard, but that's the first ingredient is what we just saw. Ethereum making that lower low, and so take that as you will. It won't greatly affect Bitcoin analysis, but it will affect any altcoin analysis that I'll provide today. All right, so I will go ahead and make myself a little bit smaller over here. All right, now these two horizontals here, this is the, I have it labeled, so if you want to put this in your chart, you can. This was my invalidation level for, you can forget about upside targets anytime soon. If this is broken below and used as resistance, that means Bitcoin would be dipping under 20K. And right now it's flirting with it. Therefore, if price were above here, which it was, or is bouncing here at least during my last video on Sunday, I think it had more chance to go up. Above this line, more chance up. Below this line, more chance to go down. Somewhere in the middle, well, then your chances are somewhere in the middle. You probably don't have a great edge either way, because this is a bounce point, and it's being used as a bounce point as of now. So this easily could get a nice bounce here. But if you're trying to wait for altcoins to get a bounce, it looks like they're, especially after the last move that just happened like 10 minutes before I started this live stream, that kind of sealed the deal for me, right? Your altcoins, including Ethereum, might not do as well as Bitcoin here for the next week or so, is what I'm strongly anticipating at this time. And therefore, until Bitcoin price gets back within this channel and uses as support, right now there is no edge between this horizontal and that horizontal. Does that make sense? So when price interacts with this channel line, the point of control here, it is kind of a break even, whether it will get rejected from it or come into it, because it's between that horizontal and this horizontal. So this is your neutral zone. I don't think there's a great edge either way. However, it is closer to this area. So I would say there's a tiny edge down, but then again, it depends on how this bounces, how it interacts with this line on this bounce, if it gets that high. Or it could choose to come down here first and then bounce in here. We'll have to see. But these are the lines that I'm looking at. I have them clearly labeled. I don't have the point of control clearly labeled, but if you pause the chart and just, look that I'm on the 1 hour chart and, kind of draw it in the same area, at least this line, that's the bottom of my point of control there. And that is my Bitcoin analysis. I can't tell where price is going to go. Right now, it's in a neutral zone. I don't think there's great edge either way. However, what does look fairly certain is that Bitcoin dominance is probably ready to take a spike up. So if that means Bitcoin keeps going down or goes sideways, that means altcoins can make lower low and lower low and lower low and lower low, right? If Bitcoin goes sideways, making equal lows or higher lows. Expect that. That is the more confident thing that I could say within this analysis. However, I would become more confident after either this horizontal is broken, or if price gets back into here and uses as support and actually gets over this origin line. So if it can come up here, let me actually just draw this. This would make me very, very confident to the upside. If price could do something like this, maybe get rejected, come back up, come back in here, boom, 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 and get above. So not even necessarily above this line all the way, but into this horizontal and above that orange line. That would probably be a decent size move. I would say that would give a decent size move. This horizontal running into, it's almost like not quite a squeeze play, but it would have two lines intersect. It would have two lines intersecting, and it could really pop off. That would make me a little bit more confident, much more confident towards the upside. And what would make me confident to the downside, if this is broken and it comes up to use this this horizontal as resistance, as it uses the bottom, here, I'll just draw it, as it uses the bottom of the point of control as resistance, like that, and then boom, 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 back down. At this point here, after that tick down, I would become more confident to the downside. And I would become confident to the downside after it goes below and use it as resistance as well here. However, just the interaction with a horizontal alongside these channel lines is going to make me even more confident than typical. Does that make sense? And I do anticipate that when it interacts with these horizontals, it will also interact with one of these two lines at the same time. So from a timing perspective, it looks like that timing is about right. We might not have confidence in resolution until late tomorrow. Yeah, right when the markets are closing, essentially, is what I would say to that. Now, for Ethereum, I guess it's going to be less important to actually go over Ethereum price because Bitcoin dominance is getting ready to rise, and this is not going to be the voice of reason. I think the voice of reason will be Bitcoin right now. However, this little micro channel that I have going on, I mean, these channel rules, it looks like it has to come down to 11:15 before it has permission to bounce. Is that 100%? No. Nothing's 100%, but it looks like it's going to come up here, get rejected, and then work its way down slowly. It doesn't have to hit it way down here. It can go like this and hit it. But it looks like a low 1100s needs to be hit. So right now, price of Ethereum's in the mid 1100s, but I don't think this is going to be the voice of reason. What is, in my opinion, the voice of reason is, and I discounted this, SPX in general. Here, let me clean this up. I just made it worse. I didn't clean anything up. Right there. So that's the daily 21 EMA and the daily, actually I have that labeled wrong. Wonder how long it's been like that. There we go, daily 10. All right, you have a big channel right here with support, 2017 support here, okay? This fancy guy here is just a trend line. Just a fat trend line, essentially, and you can see that it got broken below. So because this trend line got broken below, tomorrow you could bet I would think it'd be fairly reasonable to say it's going to come swipe down here before it attempts to get back up to the top of the channel line and use this trend line as resistance at the same time. So this would kind of be my target for upside target, and then for the next couple days, at least before Friday. I think it should swipe down here and come up here before the end of the week, before determining am I going to bust out or am I going to keep dribbling down here. But price just went straight to the top of the channel, got rejection and failure pattern. For some reason, the other charts were saying this is going to break out, and this was the only thing saying, ooh, I should be shorting. And so I discounted this because 5 other pieces of the puzzle were saying, yeah, I think this has a slight edge to the upside. This got it right. SPX got things, the S&P 500 index, it really got things right. I mean, this is how I made a bunch of money, off of Ethereum, just shorting the top of the trading channel, and this is a very perfectly common pattern. Rejection, then failure, essentially get all the shorters out before to convince people. Actually, it's more to convince people that it's breaking out something long so that the big money can take on shorts before they sell things on spot to drive this down. Across the board with their algos and all that kind of stuff, including Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's moving just with this. So this was a 3-minute wick, essentially, or a 5-minute candle, and Bitcoin had the same 5-minute candle. Same thing. Bitcoin literally moved with this exactly, but Bitcoin went above its point of control at that time. So that was right at the first market open candle, and it went the wrong way for a fake out. It's the first 5-minute traded candle. And if you look at Bitcoin, right here, it's this guy. It came up, so it didn't wick above. It actually got here, and it went screaming straight up to there to get stopped by the top of the point of control. Moved directly with it. Therefore, Bitcoin is in no man's land, and since the traditional markets are closed, I would fully expect it just kind of stays within this void area. I would be surprised if it went too deep into this point of control. I could see it potentially, Bitcoin, until markets open, hit 20,700 or so, the bottom of this. But I don't see it really, without markets open, getting way up in here, and I don't see it really falling down too much either. However, I want to be clear about one thing, though. Bitcoin typically hesitates to move with volatility when traditional markets are closed. But if it does move in a volatile fashion while markets are closed, it's probably going to be down. That's one thing we just went over in our VIP chat. Again, the Discord links are in the description section of all my videos. I post some bomb-ass charts on Twitter as well, Cosasverdes with the number 2. And then the YouTube tiers are essentially for people who are a little too busy to join a community. I record and post the recordings of Discord Cryptillion live chats and provide about 15 to 30 updates on traditional markets in Bitcoin and Ethereum a week for them. All right. And overnight, though, I think it's more probable price stays on top of this between here, essentially in this void, between this horizontal and this horizontal. I don't think much will happen. But, again, if Bitcoin decides to get volatile, while markets are closed, it's going to be down. It would be down, but I think it's more probable it remains just kind of staying in this void, in this essentially this triangle. How long would that give us? So yeah, that'd be until that'd be past market open, actually. That'd be till the end of the day tomorrow. So I would say something like this. Generally stay in here. How many hours till market open? About 15 or so. Something like that. I would not be surprised if Bitcoin literally just hangs out in this void. I can make this like pink. There you go. In that pink triangle. And any deviation, above or below, I would guess would be small in either direction until the end of this triangle. That this triangle should end roughly. Actually, let me see here. Give me a second. 9:30. Yeah, that's about right when markets open. So at that point there. And yeah, because you have some pressure from the downside of this point of control, you have essentially people defending this with buy pressure to the bottom side. So I think it's going to get stuck with low volatility without anything sexy happening until market open. Where it goes from market open, I don't know, because if it truly is here when market opens tomorrow, It's in no man's land. It's between these. I think, you're going to need to get resolution one way or another, and that's why those two price paths that I drew out earlier, I think it will have something to do with coming below here and getting rejected by where this horizontal meets this point of control, or stay floaty and then run up in here and get rejected by the top of the point of control, this orange line, as one of this horizontal is going through in this area, get rejected from here to here, essentially, in that target, right? And then essentially, if it comes down, get rejected from here to here, as this orange line is between the horizontals. Does that make sense? Essentially, geometry. I'm giving you a Geometry 101 class. Now, the Stokes and all my indicators, I've already discussed from a short-term time frame why I thought that Bitcoin had a chance to get to the upside, and that's with the weekly RSI. It's, and the rubber band is in a state of tension right now. So when green is touching white, that's a relaxed rubber band just sitting in your hand, and this is being stretched away. So green is being, back from here, it's being stretched farther and farther away from white. It's not a question of if, it is a question of when. When it will come up, or at least slow down to allow the white to catch up. And because it's stretched so much in a state of a lot of tension, I would assume the moment is now over the next 2 weeks. That would be my assumption, but as of now, it's the short-term timeframes could really just drive this back down, and it could keep going. The RSI can go lower, it can go much lower. However, it is close to a point where it needs to allow its best friend, or the white line, to catch up with it. And so the smaller time frames, the hourly, RSI, and Stokes, they're really not giving much of a signal because there's no clear trend. So when you're just chopping up and down, back and forth, essentially going sideways for 10 days straight now, indicators aren't going to be super helpful unless you're dealing with super, super small time frames. The oscillation of the 5-minute could, give you some good signals, especially if you have a strong downtrend of the 5-minute or an uptrend on the 5-minute. The Stokes or RSI could give you good signals, but something to look at on an hourly scale or bigger, I don't think many indicators are going to give much good action here. I think it's going to be support and resistance dominant right now, and that would be the focus of what I'm looking for. Just taking things one step at a time. Just basic support and resistance, and if you want to get fancy, in general, just if it's at support and resistance and it's on a downtrend, like on the hourly, well, it has a slightly more better chance to break down because the 1 hour is in a downtrend. You could just pick a time frame between the 1 hour and the daily, and then maybe even the 1 hour to the 4 hour to determine your edges. But right now, I don't see much of an edge, and honestly, on the 1 hour, it does look like pressure could be down. But right now, Bitcoin is holding on here, so it's back and forth. I don't feel an edge, and when that happens, in my community, apart from being sick and everything, but when it's a little edgeless like this, I don't give alerts, and I actually suggest. What I've been suggesting is just go outside and do something different, because this is not a favorable trading environment unless you're trading the 1 minute. You can always do stuff on the 1 minute and 5 minute and all that stuff, but you're not going to get any big rip to the upside or big rip to the downside. All right, so that is what else do we got for Bitcoin that I might be ignoring? Oh yeah, the daily. There is one more thing. The daily RSI is giving indication that this could be another 10. So okay, I just made a Bitcoin video around, what was it, May 16th? But it's the one titled "Bitcoin will move sideways at best for the next 10 days," or no, 10 to 30 days, and it moved sideways for 31 days. And it was all based off the idea of when the daily RSI makes a really sharp low, especially if it's a series of 3. So like 1, 2. Oh, you can't see that. Let's try that again, Tim. So back here is when I made, I think, it's May, it was the middle of May or something to this effect. So you had some drives down 1, 2, and Bitcoin was forming this on the daily chart. And essentially, what happens here is the RSI of the daily likes to bump its head somewhere between the white and the red, and it'll just chop sideways and go, price is like, it just doesn't, it's fairly directionless. Even though the relative strength is increasing, price is relatively directionless. It is back and forth, right? This higher high in RSI could be a lower low a lower low on price, right? And so actually, I will show you what this looked like. Let's do it. Let's go from here to here and look what price did. I think that's the right area. Yeah, this is. Oh no, I went way too far back. Hold on. Hold up. Hey, it was right here. So I made that video. Yeah, sorry, that was the wrong year, Tim. Wow, this dude's way off. All right, where were we? There we go. Yeah, the most recent one. When price when daily RSI gets deep into the red zone and then starts bouncing on its RSI, it often goes sideways for quite a long time, and the average is 10 to 30 days, literally. So we've made another deep lower low, and it's starting to bounce around. This from now, it could easily be 10 days of sideways, and then just go down farther. It doesn't guarantee it'll go up. It just means sideways. So the last time it went sideways, what did it do? Price went down lower, and it could happen again. I'm thinking the weekly gives some idea that it'll go sideways and then try up, but this is starting to look similar to this signature, and actually, I guess that was the Wyckoff. It looks similar to Wyckoff. Just bounce on here until the RSI gets between the red and the white. That's where it bumps its head, and it still wants to go sideways. Nothing sexy happens, between bouncing here and getting all the way up here, which could be days and days and days and days. Watch. If it took that long to get up there, that'd be 45 days. 45 days. Because things typically don't become clear until it hits its head somewhere between the white and the red. This could be a lot of sideways chop. And I want you to be fully expecting that as a strong possibility. And I know it sucks coming on to somebody's, TA show and to hear, well, it's going to move sideways. You want something sexier. I realize, but it's printing a very similar signature. So please be at least prepared for a strong possibility. I'm not saying probability, but strong possibility of sideways movement. And it could be about 40. It could be a while. It looks like it has a chance to be significantly longer than the last one. And Bitcoin does have a history during bearish markets to go sideways for 80 to 120 days. This could be a long one. It could be a lot of boringness. And if you're trying to learn to trade in this and you're used to the 1 hour, 4 hour chart, you're literally just going to chip away at your account with fees. Which I could tell you from experience over the last few days. I haven't posted a Grim Reaper for a reason. I got some work to do to get back to the door I left off on. I got a lot of work as I've been trading too much in a directionless environment, and it's done me no good. I've done nothing. I have had no good plays because there's really nothing to play unless you're in and out of positions really fast, right? And so be very careful over the next time until there's a clear trend, and those horizontals that I gave you on Bitcoin are going to help that. It won't guarantee a strong trend will come to fruition, but it will help in that. It'll help drastically to give you an idea of if you have an edge or not. And again, I am a little sick, and so thanks for bearing with me on this, and I will jump into the live questions.